Hi, it's Chuck from Soaring the Sky, a glider pilots podcast. Join us each week as we talk to glider pilots from all over the world as they share their story and their adventures in the air. You can find us on your favorite podcast app. I hope you join us soon on Soaring the Sky.
So 94,000 feet, speed 180 knots, 1W.
Hi, it's Natalie flyGIRL Kelley. Welcome to this episode of Cockpits and Cocktails. On this episode, we're going to go back in time a little bit to a trip that Alyssa and I took to Atlanta for the Atlanta Aviation Social event held by host Derek. He's the host of the Traffic Pattern podcast. We had a great time. All these aviation lovers were there. We talked aviation. We did some fun things with some other people on the side by going shopping and eating out, and it was way before all the masks came out on our faces and we were not quarantined at this point. It was chilly too. It was during the winter. So kind of going back in time, we're going to get Christine's story. Christine is owner of One Plane Jane. She is a pilot. She runs an aviation apparel company. She also teaches English in Spain, which is where she lives. We like to say she flew all the way to Atlanta to meet us, even though that's probably not true. We'll just go with that. But she's got all kinds of things going on. She likes to hike. She was going to Nepal and all these fun things. So I think you're really going to enjoy getting to meet Christine of One Plane Jane. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast, Cockpits and Cocktails. Let us know if there's anything you would like to hear from us in the future. And make sure you listen to all the episodes because you probably missed some really good ones. I love introducing all these aviation people to everyone out there, females in aviation. We can show what females can do in aviation and how great it is a hobby or as a profession. It's just a cool thing to get involved in. So hopefully you'll enjoy this episode of Cockpits and Cocktails with Christine of One Plane Jane.
Hey guys, it's Alyssa with Cockpits and Cocktails, and today we have Natalie flyGIRL Kelley, and we have Christine here with us. And Christine is the owner of One Plane Jane. She's a pilot.
You're wearing, show your shirt.
Oh yeah. So this we're repping some gear today.
Yeah.
She is as well. And yeah, so we want to hear your story and want to learn more about you.
I'm not. Do you ever feel like you're cheating when you wear some other brand of clothes?
A little bit.
Because I do. Like if I leave the house, I'm like, oh, I gotta have something with flyGIRL on.
Yeah, I totally feel like I'm cheating on you today. And then I'm like, but it's a podcast for her specifically today.
I know.
But yeah, I totally feel like that because I'm an ambassador for you guys, and I'm friends with you, and I'm friends with, and once you're in the industry, you kind of have all these friends,
Right.
And so you feel obligated to them. So I totally feel that. So how did you get involved in aviation first and foremost?
I started throwing bags on planes part-time in Columbus, Ohio. Part-time job. I thought I'd be with the company for 6 months and find another job and leave. But I really liked it. And I stuck with the company and decided to look into leadership positions. And then while applying for leadership positions, I started flight lessons because a friend said, well, if you want to be a leader with the company, why don't you just learn how to fly the plane?
Yeah.
So that's how I got started.
So you're a pilot.
I am a pilot.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you become a pilot?
It'll be 5 years ago in May when I got my private.
Awesome.
Okay. Where did you do your training? In Columbus?
Yeah, just south of Columbus,
Okay.
Lancaster, Ohio.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
KLHQ.
Okay.
So I love these stories where, obviously I'm not going to ask your age on camera or video or audio, but
All the things.
But
yeah.
it's like it's crazy that we all started like that. That's something we all have in common. We didn't start it when we were 16.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you have anybody growing up that was a pilot, or did you know anybody, or did you ever think, oh, I want to be a pilot one day?
No, and it's funny because I grew up like maybe a mile or less from the Atlantic City airport, and not today's Atlantic City International Airport, but Bader Field in Atlantic City. Okay. And I used to go for walks with my grandfather, push my baby doll in her little pink stroller, and we'd watch the planes take off and land when you could walk up to the fence. Mm-hmm. But I never had it in my mind to be a pilot. I knew I wanted to travel for work, but and my high school actually had an airport at the time. But I never connected the dots and thought, well,
I could do that.
Be a pilot.
Yeah.
As a job.
Yeah.
So what do you do for your actual career? Because you're a private pilot, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So what do you do for your actual career?
So like I said, I was working for the airlines and was an in-flight manager and a ramp manager. And then I resigned a little over 3 years ago because I wasn't able to transfer overseas. I fell in love and moved across the pond. My flight instructor actually did his retirement flight from Madrid to New York. And that's where Angel and I met or reconnected.
Okay.
And the rest is history there.
So you already knew him?
We met
reconnected?
when we were in Atlanta for training a year prior, but didn't really keep in touch. We exchanged contact info.
Now, was he doing the same work as you, or was he doing something else training-wise?
So he's with Tech Ops, so he's an aircraft maintenance technician who has about 20 hours of flight time. So we're hoping to get him to finish his private sooner rather than later.
What's it? Yeah, so is he trying to do that in Spain?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It's much
I was
easier
going to
here.
say, what would it be like in Spain? But
we both come back to Ohio to fly.
Okay.
He's even got some multi-time already, which
Awesome.
is neat. Yeah, and general aviation is not really a thing in at least most of Western Europe. Certainly not in Spain so much. I am learning that light sport is happening, but certainly not with the community aspect that it is here.
There's a lot more legal aspects to it over there.
Yeah, the
and
regulation
fees and-
is very cost prohibitive.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
So tell me about, you were talking about what you do right now.
Yeah. So I left the company and did what most Americans do overseas and started teaching English. But
Makes sense.
I've grown to love it because I teach privately, so my students come to my home and I developed my own curriculum. So I'm able to incorporate what I've learned from aviation and from travel into the curriculum.
Yeah.
So it's like personal development and leadership embedded into the English classes.
I think travel is so good for education. Being able to use those experiences that you've had to really relate things in a different way. If you're not someone that's really stepped out and seeing different parts of the world, it's sometimes hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been fun. And I actually just started freelancing for another company, teaching English online to kids in China, which is fascinating just to learn how that platform works, how the education works.
That's cool.
It's fun.
Huh. Yeah.
Modern day boss babe.
Yeah. And then you've got this One Plane Jane. Tell me, what
Yes.
is that exactly? How did this all come to be?
So One Plane Jane sells products to empower women everywhere, inspired by female aviators. I did not come up with it. My friend Angie did. Angie Kozik founded the company, maybe about 3 years ago now. And I bought the company in March of this past year, March of 19.
Okay.
And we've got...
Y'all have some cute stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like your stuff. I mean, almost as good as my stuff.
Yeah, so it's crazy that like both of you have companies. So it's kind of like, we need to talk about all of this.
Yeah.
And, I had met Angie, or actually we had connected. I don't remember how I found her exactly. And I was like in love with her products because I was a new female aviator and like there was not a lot out there for females. And so of course I gravitated towards One Plane Jane, and then I met her and she's so sweet, and they made handmade bags and like they're really quality and nice. And so I kind of became an ambassador for them. And then when you took it over, we just kind of kept it going, and then we finally met, and it's been a really fun journey. But
do you sell it in Europe as well?
The shipping is international.
Okay.
So I actually did one event there in September, October this year.
How would the sales be there, because general aviation is not so big there?
Yeah,
versus here?
exactly. And the expendable income just isn't what it is in the States either. They're big on the global brands, if you will, less than the entrepreneur.
Smaller,
it doesn't have the
small
entrepreneurial
business thing,
spirit there that it does in the States. That's one of the beautiful things about the United States.
Yeah.
Is this support and encouragement for entrepreneurs.
So how do you manage that
from Spain?
My dad retired and came to volunteer for me.
Oh, nice.
Thanks, Dad.
Nice.
Yeah, and I actually just found a new vendor to do the printing in the town where my mom is, in Toledo. So she's now involved in the process of picking up some merchandise,
Oh my goodness,
quality,
wow.
checking
Yeah.
it, and then
Yeah.
I pick it up from her and take it
Yeah.
to my dad and
That's
see
cool.
my family, and
That's awesome.
It's kind
kind of a family business. And
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
it
neat.
is
Now, do
now.
your mom or dad, do they fly at all?
No.
No, okay.
My mom wasn't my first passenger because she wasn't in Columbus when I was flying, but I think she was my second passenger.
Mm-hmm.
So she's been flying with me. My dad told me when I had 100 hours to contact him. And now I have almost 200.
Yeah.
And he's 6'4". He just doesn't want to get in a little plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Not that he doesn't
so.
trust you. He's just like, yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
My dad
he's
loves
a big
it.
cheerleader, but
Yeah, my dad loves it, loves to go fly. My mom's like, maybe not. And, but everybody else and their dog wants to come fly with me. And I'm like, you don't even know if I actually can fly this thing.
Right.
But
Right.
they want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Alyssa a little bit because I've never done. Which air show did y'all meet at?
Sun and Fun,
Okay.
I think, was the first time we met.
People ask me about, I sell things at the shows in the booth, and I haven't done that. And I'm like, I've kind of inquired a little bit about it. So, and I thought maybe people would want to know what goes into running a booth at an event like Oshkosh.
Yeah.
Have you done it at Sun and Fun?
I
Or just
personally
Oshkosh?
haven't done
Okay.
Sun and Fun, and she did. And we decided, at least starting out, that Oshkosh Sun and Fun is a good event it's a different beast. It's the event that I've chosen to develop relationships. And then in Oshkosh is the one where I really have the booth. Because when you have a booth, you don't get out of the booth a whole lot.
Yeah.
I had some help throughout. Angie helped. Another ambassador helped. I know you were at another booth during that time.
It was all.
So, yeah. So I got out a little bit, but
Yeah.
Sun and Fun is the
Okay,
networking
gotcha.
for me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the booth, like at Oshkosh, we got in on Saturday and set up camp. We did RV camping with Angie and Kevin. Angel and I did.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, we set up the booth. And it was an all-day event to set up the booth. Like the actual
So did you buy like the racks and everything, or do they have those you
Angie
can rent?
and Kevin actually made them.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then they drove them down because they were RVing, right?
Right. Well, we split the load between our vehicles.
Sure.
I had most of the merchandise because we met them in Indiana on the way, and then we followed the leader into
I think
Oshkosh.
a lot of people don't know what all goes into setting up a booth. They just think, oh, it's just here.
You have your racks,
Well,
you
you
have
have all
your
this stuff.
storage, you
Yeah.
have things that you have to hide. There's,
And
for
people
hooker
to
harness.
actually work the booth. Were they paid employees or volunteers?
Volunteers, and that's what I did. That's how the relationship started with Angie and I. So to back up a little bit, we met at Sun and Fun. Now it'll be 2 years ago that Angie and I met there. And I had contacted her. I was writing a travel blog, Alpha Charlie Travel, which Angel and I are trying to bring back to life now. And I said, I love your product. I've bought some things. Do you want me to wear a shirt? We're going to Everest Base Camp.
I remember the shirt.
Put the name on Everest Base Camp. And he's like, okay, that's great. And then we kept in touch and met in person at Sun and Fun. We camped together at Oshkosh that summer. And then it was the next year that I took over the business. And now Angie and Kevin are coming with Angel and I to Nepal to do another hike.
Oh,
in
wow.
4 weeks from today.
That's
Oh my goodness!
awesome.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you're big into hiking, or is it
there.
just like okay, all right?
Yeah, in Nepal. In other places, yes, but it's just different there.
Okay.
So that's how that relationship got started. And they custom built the booth and everything. On Sunday when we set up, there's always like the last minute scramble, like the Walmart run in Oshkosh. Go before, anyone listening working in a booth, please go before Sunday evening because the store will be half empty. You'll think that a hurricane is coming. It's incredible.
A lot
like,
of
there's
people
no hangers.
did it.
Nothing.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Incredible.
Huh.
Yeah. And you can't buy beer on the Sundays in the Walmart either.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
found
stock
that
of it.
out.
That's how it is in
I think I went to Target and I was like, what?
Yeah.
They
I'm
have
on
like
vacation.
I remember they had like a thing across the beer and stuff. Cannot purchase this. Yeah.
XYZ
Yeah.
times. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is your mission with, I guess, any of it? What is your end goal for, like, what do you foresee happening with the One Plain Jane, or are you giving back? What is your objective for what you're doing in the traveling? And
Yeah.
Hang on, I want to ask one more thing.
Sure.
How did you find, as far as the Oshkosh, how do you figure out how much stuff to take in order?
Oh gosh, that's a hard question.
$1 million question.
It's really hard as a small business because you just don't have the data
Right.
that a big business
Right.
does. So what Angie had done before was a lot of research to find statistics on sizes and proportions of sizes to order for these sorts of things. And it's a lot of educated guesses, really. And
how did you think it went? Like, were you
good.
kind of good on, like, spot on, or were you lacking in things?
So in Oshkosh, it tends to be smaller sizes that go faster, and in Sun and Fun, it's the bigger sizes. So that's a little note
That's
for
so
anyone.
interesting, isn't it?
I wonder
Yeah.
why that is.
Huh.
If it's more pilots versus,
General public,
or
There's a lot younger people going to Oshkosh.
Sure.
Maybe because it's summer, so the college kids and things are going, they're off. I think that's part of it. Also, you can never have enough kid stuff.
Kids, yeah.
The kids
everybody
always
went
want
so
something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our community, I found that I have so many men or dads or grandfathers that are like, hey, where did you get that shirt? I'd love to get that for my granddaughter or my daughter or whatever, because they don't find that as often and they don't know those outlets. Now it's becoming more popular to get those as, like, gifts. And, and like, oh, they're gone for Oshkosh 2 a week. Let's take this home to my wife to appease her.
Yes,
or my
right.
And my own dad, every time he travels, I always get a t-shirt. I'm like, I just want to go on the trip. I don't actually want to
t-shirt. I want to go with you the next time.
hint, Dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
And then
kid
did you
stuff
have a lot of
goes.
stuff that you took back? Was there pretty much?
So then there's an art to it. If you're doing drop shipping versus screen printing, that has to be ordered with minimum quantities of, do you mark stuff down in the last couple of days to try to sell it out because you're going to restock it, or do you want to keep stuff in inventory because you have to respect your online customers too? So it's really interesting. So this year there's going to be a lot more kid stuff.
So you learned that's a good kind of niche kind of thing that you need to offer products for.
Oh yeah, that stuff went by midweek. It was picked over.
Well, kids that go to those things, they always want something.
They want a trinket or
and
something.
parents will buy them whatever just let me stay a little bit longer.
Right. Yeah.
So okay, well if I wound up doing that one year, I definitely would want to pick your brain about that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I interrupted your. I wanted to get a little more.
Let's go back and edit all that.
A little more video. So start all over again.
So with the One Plain Jane, or I know you're involved in the Alpha Charlie travel. I can't remember exactly what it was, but in all of that, what is your goal for that? Like, are you wanting to inspire? Are you wanting, like, what are you trying to do or reach?
Yeah, so great question. Definitely the inspiration is huge. We currently have, One Plain Jane has relationships officially with 99s, the International Organization of Women Pilots, and with FAST, Female Aviators Sticking Together. And with both of those, we carry their branded merchandise. We have agreements to use their logos, and they approve the designs and merchandise, and a percentage of those sales goes back to the organization. So that's happening now. Angie had that established. I've continued that with those relationships. And we've got some talks going with other nonprofits, similar models there. I've got the team of 12 ambassadors that are already active in their local communities. So one thing Angie did for me was Angel and I did a Girls in Aviation Day in Madrid, and she donated some things when she was running the company to raffle off to get them thinking about aviation when they went home. So I said, well, I want to do that and scale that. So that's why I put together the team of ambassadors so that I can support them in their local events. So it's very grassroots right now. With this trip to Nepal. We are going to do our first scholarship fundraising.
Yeah.
So that's going on. It's going to be administered. The funds will be handled by another nonprofit. So everything is officially taken care of there. And then long term, the plan is to register, not to change One Plain Jane, but to register a nonprofit to run in parallel to it so that we can do scholarships ourselves without having to go through a third party. And not just scholarships, but the vision would be to develop. My dream would be to have a digital platform for STEM or even STEAM, incorporating the arts education at the K through 12 level.
Yeah. I actually have a nonprofit. I have flyGIRL, which people think is the nonprofit, but it's actually Fly Foundation is the name of the nonprofit.
Okay.
So the sales that I make for things that are flyGIRL goes into Fly Foundation.
Right.
For that purpose. So yeah, it's good to have two separate things, and that's exciting. Yeah. Tell me what the ambassador, when you're talking about ambassadors, because you had mentioned being an ambassador, and people have asked me to be ambassadors for things, and I don't really think that works for me because my main thing is flyGIRL. But what do ambassadors do, and what is their role?
So they are an amazing team of volunteers who. My biggest criteria was I want people that are already active in their community. People who are already doing what I would ask of an ambassador. I don't want it to feel like work, and I want it to be mutually beneficial. So they support, obviously, marketing. It's grassroots, social media marketing, sharing posts, wearing the products, tagging it. But Alyssa, on Girls in Aviation Day, you went out and flew a bunch of kids around.
And I remember talking to you before that. It's like I wanted to do something for Girls in Aviation Day, but I couldn't call it Girls in Aviation Day because it has to be
through the organization.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to go out and do something for my community.
Yeah,
and and having your brand behind it, and being an ambassador and just tagging those things and just being involved in some small way in your own community. And so she has people kind of hitting all over the world instead of just you trying to work your force by yourself to get your brand out.
Exactly. Like Emmy Dillon was the stop chair in Kansas on the Air Race Classic. So she did an Instagram takeover, wore some of the One Plain Jane attire, and talked about that, the behind the scenes, because I don't think a lot of people know what that is really like.
No, I agree. Yeah,
and that was brilliant.
We talked about doing that, and I wanted to tell you, I had sent a message to someone that was in it, and I was like, "How much is this going to cost?" And she was like, "It's probably going to cost us." She showed me her whole spreadsheet, what everything cost, and it was like $6,000.
Well, you got to think of fuel and your entry.
That's a low estimate.
Is it? Okay.
From the people that I've talked to. Yeah. Because the quote I got was closer to 8.
Okay.
Because you're flying full throttle. Because your handicapped is done at full throttle. Yeah. And you're not burning what you think. It's not efficient.
Yeah.
It's not efficient as that.
Yeah. So can you... Because we never talk about the Air Race Classic. Let's just talk about what that is. It's a race that in the summer every year, it's like 4 days or something like that.
It's about 4 days in June.
Only VFR.
It might be like over my birthday. It's like always right around my birthday.
It's always difficult for me because I've wanted to do it for the last 3 years, and it's always been kind of a challenge to work it out. I think because it's in the summer, there's
a lot going on through the summer.
Especially when you have kids that are involved in sports and stuff like that. And anyway, that started by like Amelia Earhart, right? It was like the Powder Puff Derby originally, and it just the 99s kind of orchestrate the whole thing, right? What do you know about it?
So I just finished reading the book flyGIRLs by Keith O'Brien.
Yeah.
So he actually had donated a copy of the book. He has a youth edition, which is really cool to get it out for the kids. Yeah. He donated it to raffle off at our Girls in Aviation Day this year in Spain. And I read that, and it talks about, it was a male air race that the women were prohibited from flying in at one point. And then there were a lot of tragedies in the early years, but then it was finally realized that the tragedies weren't unique to the women. I mean, it was the men and women. And then the women were finally able to
participate,
because they had done their own race. But they didn't have the resources that the men did to have the faster airplanes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it was a transcontinental race, and now every year the route changes a little bit.
It's kind of cool to see where they're going, where they're starting, where they're ending.
Yeah.
And a lot of planning, a lot of figuring out logistics and wind and that kind of thing. And
a lot of weather delays, it seems like, in the last couple of years because it has to be VFR.
Correct. So they actually, I think, cut out some of the stops this past year.
Was it last year? Yeah.
For weather. And one of my favorite things, and I haven't participated in it, and I've just been learning about it, is they have the mama birds. Have you heard about this? So, I mean, you talk about relationships and mentoring in the industry, and this is just a perfect scenario for it. Is they call them the mama birds, the experienced flyers that take a new pilot under their wing, literally, and help them throughout the entire process.
Who's our mama bear? Who's our
mama bird?
Mama bird. Who's
I don't know. But there are women that do it every year. With the same partner every year. They never.
We were just talking about Nancy. We just had her on the podcast. She did it, and then her partner and her kind of butted heads, and so she took off and was going to do it on her own. Well, you have to have a partner, so they actually paired her with somebody when she got there, and
yes, they did. If you don't have a partner, apparently they can let you know or let them
if anybody's
know
interested. They can kind of find somebody. But it's just kind of funny how. I think it would be hard to kind of pick somebody that you were going to be compatible with in a flying situation. Like, who's in charge of this, who's in charge of this, and kind of making sure.
Especially if you have two kind of alpha personalities.
Yeah, so. Nancy's definitely alpha.
Yeah, and you can take a third actually too.
Okay. Yeah, because there were some teams that had three.
Right, and then the qualifications for the third are lower, so they can actually gain some learning experience from it.
Yeah. That's neat. A lot of schools kind of do that, have teams.
Yeah, with the aviation colleges.
How do you think you and I would do on a race? You think we'd want to kill each other by the end? Or?
I think I need a lot of coffee. I definitely think I need coffee. You'd be like, don't take a video, I need lip gloss. And she'd also be the one jotting down notes. We were having cocktails last night, and we have a napkin, and she's writing notes down, and then we go to bed last night, and she's putting a notepad.
Have a piece of paper.
There's always a notepad next to her when she sleeps, so that when she wakes up at 3 a.m. she can write down her thoughts. And I'm just like face palm,
But you do pen and paper, not digital.
Yeah, me pen and paper.
Yeah,
you have to physically write it to get it to sink in.
Yeah,
that's me.
Or there's a way that writing it helps you get it out of your head.
Right, you sleep better if you
write. Just if I can just get that out.
I wonder what the psychology is about writing it on pen and paper versus digital, and how that kind of works.
I don't know.
But there's something so pleasing if you have a checklist of actually being able to cross it off.
Yeah, I know. So are you a list person too?
I am a list person.
Okay, good. Give me 5.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't know, you guys. So let's talk about, you are an ambassador for ID90 Travel, correct?
Yes.
What is that exactly?
So ID90 Travel is a company that is geared for the airline industry and the travel industry, but it's very much for friends and family too, which that means you.
My friend now?
We're more like family. We're more like family because we can fight a little bit and we can be fine, and we're still stuck together.
So if you're on the commercial side of aviation, whether you're a pilot or a ramp agent, ticket counter, reservations, doesn't matter. The flight benefits are a huge factor. Specifically, I'm speaking for U.S. airlines. Other international carriers do have benefits, but the structure is a little bit different. But for the U.S. major carriers, you can call it non-revenue
okay, yeah,
flights,
I've heard that,
which is pretty much free flights domestically, and you cover the taxes internationally, plus discounted flights on other airlines. They may not if your airline doesn't fly to the city you want to go to, for instance, between two international cities, a U.S. airline's not going to fly that route.
Right.
You're going to have to fly the international carrier. Yeah. So that's a huge thing. So if you can fly anywhere, well, but you don't know if you're going to have a seat on the plane until it's time to board the plane and you get your seat assignment. Yeah. How do you figure out your hotels? You're flying by the seat of your pants with no reservations. So ID90 has this great network of hotels and car rentals with discounts to close the gap to complete the trip. Yeah. And they even have travel insurance on there, which is super reasonable, the most reasonable that I've ever found. Cruise deals, everything.
So it's mostly, it was created kind of for the commercial family and that kind of thing use.
Yeah, because
that we're using these non-revving tickets, that what you call it, and not
exactly. So they started 3 years ago because we're the third class of brand ambassadors. They started a brand ambassador program because there's people in the airline industry that don't use their flight benefits.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, they can call me. My number is 217.
Right? So, because the flight benefits are the employee and the spouse or partner. And if they aren't married or in a long-term relationship, they can designate a travel companion who does pay a fee, but it's still less than a firm ticket. Yeah. And then the employees' parents and children. Okay. Up to a certain age, early 20s, college age, more or less. So and then they stay on, but they drop down in a priority for standby listing. It's typically how it works. Okay. But so ID90 started this brand ambassador program to show airline employees what they can do with their benefits. Yeah. And Angel and I applied for this third class of brand ambassadors, which is for 2020. And it's the biggest class this year. There's 25 of us. Wow. And it's pilots, flight attendants, gate agents, ramp agents, maintenance technicians. It's growing, and they've given us discount codes that we can share with other people, and then you can create your own account. It's a free app. They don't send you spam emails, no pop-ups, nothing. It's all there. So you don't have to be an airline employee now. Anyone can create an account.
That sounds like a really cool thing.
Yeah. So we're excited. It gives some direction to some other creativity in there, and I didn't get into aviation for the airplanes, though the love for that is inevitable. Like, that comes with it. You can't not love it. Yeah. I got into it for the travel. So now it's neat to bring this full circle and see if that actually can't be used to get more people into aviation. Sure. To show them where they can go.
What do you like about travel?
The people, stories that you don't read in the newspapers. I remember my freshman year of high school. This is dating myself now. The freshman year of high school was 9/11. And my mother's ex-husband was from Egypt. So I grew up in a household that was half Catholic, half Muslim, American, Egyptian. I had English and Arabic in the house. Yeah. And I was angry at how the U.S. media was portraying this part of the world in just painting with broad strokes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, I have to travel and meet people and have these relationships and learn firsthand, and then tell their stories to other people. Tell the good stories, not the sensational news that you see on television. Right. Yeah. So that was really what lit the fire for me.
Okay. Interesting. And what was you mentioned the travel blog. So what was that all about? Or what is it about? You still do that?
Yeah, getting back into that. There's still stories that have been lived and not told yet. And I always have the notebook and pen with me, so they're jotted down. Yeah. They just need to be typed up. Yeah. And everyone kept asking us about the places that we went. Of how did you get there? Where did you stay? What did you do? And we had a list on the notes on the iPhone that we would copy and paste into WhatsApp messages and send them to friends. So we said, well, let's start a website so that anyone can access this. Yeah. So,
You like to write?
I love to write.
Yeah, I like to write too.
I'm a terrible writer, so I'll let you guys I think that's the coolest thing about like social media, and you know, it's like I don't love some of the sides of social media and being connected to that so much, because when we travel, we really want to be there and be present and travel.
Right.
But then we want to tell about it to get to people. I grew up in a very small town of like 2,000 people. You know, most people are like, oh, I'm going to be a nurse, or I'm going to go to the military, or XYZ. You know, there's no option outside of that. And so I feel like in me kind of branching out to traveling in the last couple of years, I've found like there's so much life to be lived. And I know nothing about this other country and like what they do for a living or how they live so differently from us. But it's really awesome to see that you can share that in social media. And so, yeah, it's
True.
I don't know how to write that exactly, but it's really cool.
I think travel is like the best kind of educational experience.
I agree.
We've traveled a lot. It's been kind of a priority for my family, taking my kids and to expose them to all kinds of, you know, we've been to Europe, we've just been all over. And it's amazing what you just learn from actually experiencing other cultures and things like that.
Yeah, it's just, look at it as living a day, even a couple of days in another place.
Yeah.
We are getting to the point that we're talking about kids in the near future, and all of our neighbors are like, travel now, it's going to change. No, it's not going to change.
Yeah.
We're going to
It's
take
our
our kids
responsibility
on this
to take
hike.
them.
Yeah.
We're going to take our kids to this place and show them life. And yeah, you shouldn't make that like, oh, well, we're stuck at home now. We got a baby to raise.
No,
you know,
no
like,
way.
still live your life.
And
I mean, it's challenging, but it can be done. Yeah,
Right.
it's, and I feel like people that don't start out taking their kids when they're younger have a hard time when they travel. Then the kids are like so out of sorts. If it's not kind of normal from the beginning, it's not that big of a deal. They'll go to bed and stay on their schedule, kind of like a regular. It's like, okay, it's not that big a deal. We're still going to go to bed same time. We're still going to do this. Then I think that makes it a lot easier when you travel with young kids. Start them early.
Yeah, or start before kids even.
Yeah.
Even as well.
Right, yeah.
If you've never traveled and then you travel with kids,
it's going to be
that's hard.
Very hard.
Because you're all trying to transition to that.
Well, I know how to travel for me, but even with a companion or even with a child, like there's going to be modifications to what you're doing to accommodate other people, other beings, their schedules, their sleep, their, you know, how they function. Because I know I don't require a lot of sleep when I'm traveling because I want to see everything. Yeah. And so I'm like, give me the coffee and I'm going out, you know. Yeah. But where is some place that you guys want to explore or do that you haven't? Or what is your favorite place as well?
Oof. Okay, which one do I answer first? So I'd say top of our list for new places would be... No, it's good. I just can't drink hot coffee like super, super hot because my mom made me burn my tongue on coffee when I was 13, so I'm a little afraid of hot coffee. Gosh. So I drink it once it's cool.
I thought I will get something else for you because I thought, is it terrible? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
No, now it's perfect.
Okay.
It was just really hot.
Yeah.
Thank you. So the place that we were actually talking about going this year, we tend to do one really big trip and then like some medium trips and some smaller trips. Mm-hmm. So last year's big trip was the Philippines. And this year we thought we were going to go back to that part of the world and do like Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, and go around there. Because we love to eat. We love to eat when we travel. And like to find out how the food is made and go super local. We eat street food around the world. Mm-hmm. I'll get sick for a night. I don't care. And I've only gotten sick once in my life from street food. Mm-hmm. And that was when I was actually living overseas. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we eat everything. And almost everything. I don't like strong cheese. Or pig ear. That's about it.
Totally out.
But anything else, I'm good. And that's common in Spain. So I just pick around that.
Okay.
And then... we decided we want to do Nepal because that's the one trip that we would not be comfortable doing with kids because of the altitude.
Gotcha.
Just from a safety standpoint. The people are lovely. We'll take them when they're a little older in the future to another part of the country and work them into it. But the trek that we want to do goes up to 5,360 meters above sea level, and that's just not safe when a kid can't even tell you if they're hungry, let alone if they can breathe at altitude.
Yeah, that seems like almost abusive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing this one alone, and we said anything else can be a family vacation in the future. So Southeast Asia, because it's new. Neither one of us have been to. I've been to Thailand and the Philippines, and the rest is new territory. But as far as favorite trips, I've kind of categorized it. So favorite city would be Havana, Cuba.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I love it. The music, the
culture.
energy is incredible. Favorite country? I love Spain, where I live. But to travel would be Argentina. I've been there 3 times, and it's spectacular. The food, the people, the landscape. And then experience would be Nepal. It's life-changing.
Really?
Yeah. To realize how little
I can't
need.
I can't say I've ever had a desire to go to Nepal. I don't know why. It just seems
I've
like...
seen some really cool stuff in the last couple of years from some friends that have been there, and I'm like, yeah, I think that would be something I'd be interested in.
I always I always picture you'd have to wear like this like toga thing. It's like the
Like the monks.
Yes.
wear.
Yeah, I always picture the monks wearing
Well, our first night in the mountains, so I went, this will be my 3rd trip to Nepal, Angel's 2nd. I went the first time by myself to Annapurna Base Camp. We did Everest Base Camp 2 years ago, and this time we're doing the Gokyo Lakes. So it's literally, you start like you're going to Everest Base Camp, and it's a fork in the road, and you take the path less traveled.
Okay.
And they say it's the best views ever. Because you can see Everest better from there than from base camp. You're looking straight up.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
You have the
gotcha.
perspective.
So, when you went to Nepal before, I know, flying in there and that kind of thing.
Amazing.
Does it kind of scare you at altitude, knowing weight imbalances and altitude, and do you worry about those things being in aviation, or is it just like an amazing view? And
Yes and no. I don't worry about it because I know that I've loaded the planes with very little experience, but I've done it safely. That it's important, but it's not terribly difficult to comprehend. And knowing the experience that's required of these pilots to fly that route specifically, it's not a factor of concern so much. And they actually weigh everything. You are very weight restricted on your luggage going into there. So
it's not like haphazard. I mean, they know what they're doing.
they know what they're doing there. And we had a female pilot, which is awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm gonna.
that always makes me so excited.
I love it. I looked on. I had the idea last week. I went on the 99's directory.
Yeah.
And there's 15 female piloits in Nepal.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I'm going to reach out to the chair and see if any of the women are there. If we can
that will be fun.
have coffee while we're there. So
Yeah.
That's great.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Very cool. What about you? What's some of your favorite places?
Ooh. Okay, so one last one for you, aviation-wise. What is your favorite location you've been to, or event, or aviation
Related.
Aviation-related event, or
It could be an event,
Somewhere
or it could
you've
be like your
flown,
favorite
maybe,
flight,
or
your I flew in Austria. So
okay.
Yeah.
Do I have to pick just one?
Yes.
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 5 seconds. 5, 4.
All right, I'm gonna go with the one that really comes to mind. In Ohio, New Carrollton, Ohio.
Okay, I've never
I always
been fun in there.
remember KTSO because I think of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Oh.
That's how I remember it.
Okay.
That's funny.
It's in East Central Ohio, close to the Pennsylvania border.
Okay.
They have the best pie in the world.
Ooh,
I remember this story, actually.
Yeah, best pie in the world, and it was the first flight that I did with Angel.
Okay. All right.
yeah.
So it's very memorable.
It's very memorable.
Yeah.
I've been there many times. I did my 100-hour flight there.
I'll have to fly up there sometime then.
You should.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep in touch. Maybe we can do it together.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We talked about doing that, didn't we? One time you were like, if I'm ever back in Ohio, then we'll try to do that. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
And then we were talking, and we were going to ask her what her plane. If you could fly a plane.
Oh, if you could fly any plane
What would it
or
be?
have one plane,
Accessible
you can't,
to you,
you can't not. Okay, there's the traveling plane. There's their aerobatic. There's the this that. You just get one. Pick one.
Yeah.
Just one.
What would it be?
I know it's hard.
Well, I wouldn't pick one that I need to go far because I've got the flight benefits for that. So I'll
perfect.
take the cocktail on the airplane, and be the passenger there.
Okay.
But for my plane, I would pick. I've never flown one, but I'd want probably a Cub with the bush tires.
Okay, we did not.
Because I've
see that
never
coming,
done
did we?
I know. I'm going to say this before we release the video because we did a video before this and we tried to ask and maybe
we guessed.
Maybe Alyssa said that maybe you wanted a Cirrus. I mean, some of you will get that, but some of you won't.
Yeah.
So that's fun. And then if there was anybody that inspired you or mentored you, one person that gave you that it could not even be to become a pilot, but just in life in general, what person sticks out to you?
In life?
Somebody that gave you life, energy, that you wanted to be like, that sparked this
cousin.
Travel.
Your dad's
my
cousin.
dad's cousin.
Really?
Yeah. I call her my Aunt Judy because she's like an aunt-like figure.
Yeah.
But it's my dad's cousin. She was an international corporate attorney. She still works as an attorney and now mentors law students at Duke. She's in North Carolina now. But I spent summers with her and her kids. Her kids and I are really close in New Jersey. It's where I grew up.
Okay.
So she always traveled and spoke other languages and showed, the opportunities and just told stories that, I didn't hear in school or from other family members. And I wanted to be her when I was a kid. I really did.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't go the attorney route because if I'm tired now, I'd be really tired if I did that.
Yeah.
So, but she kind of opened the door and really made
Open your
some
eyes
sort of
to that.
yeah.
kind of
The
life.
international side of it really, really came from her.
Yeah.
And being a career-driven woman and also a mother and now a grandmother.
Sounds like a cool lady.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. She's taking her granddaughter to. She's going to show her the world, show her view of the world, and they're doing a grandmother-granddaughter trip to Paris and London this
cool.
year.
Have they been over to visit you, or has she been over to visit you?
She
in
got
Spain.
stuck in Madrid because they were flying from Morocco to Geneva to visit friends.
Yeah.
And they landed in Spain on a Friday of a holiday weekend. So there were 2 customs officers working, and they missed their connection.
Mm-hmm.
So it was their misfortune that became our great fortune, and we picked them up and took them out for dinner, and we had a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I've noticed, and from my experience, is this true? When we've been in Europe and we've flown within Europe, like on Ryanair or something, or Alitalia, is that one of them or something?
It is, yeah.
They seem very low budget, inexpensive. Is that true for most of the airlines there?
You mean the perception for
so
passengers?
inexpensive.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like $100 to hop here.
Yeah.
$100. Yeah, I saw that when I was in Europe as well.
Yeah, it was like, whoa.
These little hops are really not that expensive.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we went, so Angel, instead of coming back to headquarters in Atlanta for training, sometimes it's easier to send them to training in Amsterdam or in Paris. And a couple years ago, we went to Paris for work and obviously had to buy a local ticket there on a European carrier. Mm-hmm. And I tagged along for the weekend and got a ticket as well. We have the discounts, they're called Zeds on the other airlines. But we didn't need it. We just bought the confirmed tickets and it was just as cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we were comparing train tickets to airplane tickets, and it was like, okay, this can get us there faster, and the cost was very similar. It was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
That it's so inexpensive. And I think a lot of people maybe don't know that, especially in the U.S., that if they go over there, they need to stay in one spot, when actually it's not that difficult to get to other
Super
spots.
easy to get around.
Yeah.
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 I mean, this may have already been answered in the ID 90 travel section of this, but if you had to give anybody advice in traveling before ID 90 travel came a part of your lives, and somebody that's just traveling on their own or whatever, what advice would you give them for keeping it affordable? And because I know a lot of people like, how do you afford to travel so much and do these things? And I've kind of have these little niche things that I can do to save money. What advice would you give?
Absolutely. So, carry on only. You need less than what you think you need. And ask the locals
You should see
when
her
you get
suitcase,
there.
by the way.
Don't go to our room.
Well, I mean, that's how I knew it was love with Angel, when I actually started to carry a bag with wheels, because I was backpack only before I met him.
Okay.
But, you know, when we started dating and I was going to family events, first impressions in Spain, I had to pack multiple pairs of shoes. I never did that before.
Yeah.
So that's how I knew.
Yeah.
But, no. Yeah, carry on only, and just ask the locals. Planning is guessing. So I say with a non-revenue passenger, an airline employee or dependent, you don't know if you're going to get on the plane. So that's why we don't usually make reservations in advance.
Yeah.
But also, no one really knows if they're going to get there when they think they're going to get there, because there's variables we can't control. So, planning is guessing, and ask the locals when you get there. And everything will work out.
A lot of people don't have that, like, oh gosh, I can't go on a trip and not have hotels planned. There's hotels. That
would be me.
hotels. And there are options. And it's not like it's going to be 10 times higher when you get there, like an airplane or something. So,
I mean, if you go on New Year's Eve, it might be. But, I mean, the rest of the year.
For sure. And I've found that I have the best hotels or accommodations or anything in like the best spots when I get there and I'm like, hey, where's the best place to stay in town? What's the life like? Where is the best energy? And now I'm not going out clubbing, but like I want good coffee shops and good microbreweries or something. So you find those kind of communities and stay there. And you can't find life through a computer.
Not at all.
Trying to find where to stay.
Well, and if you need the peace of mind, I mean, just if you're going for more than just a weekend, for example, if you're going on an American vacation with your however many weeks of vacation per year, book your first night for the peace of mind,
and then you can,
and then ask when you get there.
And leave your schedule a little bit open. Don't pack it so like, okay, we're going to the castle and we're going here and we're going here and we're going here, because I find I lose the excitement. Because you're so pushed to get to the next thing if you schedule it too much.
Absolutely.
So that's something I found in traveling, that you kind of have to have a little bit more relaxed of a schedule.
Well, and I think this idea of like missing out, it's just it's based on your expectations.
Sure.
So if you don't plan all of that, you're not missing anything. You can be in the moment a little bit more.
I know for people, I'm guessing if they have a vacation though and they have like 5 days, they're like, because I always kind of schedule a down day where there's really nothing planned. With kids in particular, they get completely burned out. It's like, I've seen enough. You know, people sometimes think they need, we only have 5 days. We have to see all this stuff. And
then you end up
at the end of the week, you're kind of like,
you need a vacation from your
I
vacation.
don't remember what museum was that, and where did we see that, and did we? You know, it's like everything just kind of runs together. And you need a vacation from your vacation, and then it's just kind of like you just need a down day.
I think
you can do that.
I think my Austria trip to go see Red Bull in Budapest was probably the best thing. I booked it 2 weeks before. I met a guy at Oshkosh, and I ended up staying with him because he lived outside of Vienna, and stayed with him, and we had nothing planned, and we just kind of wung it the whole time. And it was like the most relaxing, most adventurous, most fun, because I didn't have these expectations. I wanted to go to Red Bull, and that was like my expectation. So
That's good.
I mean, Angel and I, after meeting in Madrid, our first like real date was Amsterdam because he was there for training and asked me if I wanted to meet him there. So on Valentine's Day, I got on the plane to wake up the next day and meet him. And I told him, and I said, and it was a test. And he knows this. Or at least he knows it now.
Yeah.
That I said, let's not plan anything. He had a hotel for work and then was staying for a few days with his days off. I said, don't plan anything. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And we did.
And it worked out.
It worked.
Yeah, so he passed the test.
He passed the test.
Yeah.
Angel is very lovely, so I hope you get to meet him
Yes.
at Sun and Fun.
You guys
or
have to come to
Oshkosh or-
Spain.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so fun.
I'm totally in.
Yeah, we got to teach you how
Girls
to
trip to
flip a
Spain.
tortilla over there.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So can you tell all of our listeners where we can find all your information, where they can follow these travels, what, just where you can find the inspiration in your stuff.
Yep, it's oneplanejane.com. ONE, plane, like the airplane, PLANE, Jane, JANE.com. And Instagram and Facebook are also at oneplanejane.
Awesome.
Yeah. Really cool posts and stuff.
Yeah,
that we
and,
have, so.
and reach out to her if you guys need help with ID 90 travel, or there's lots of really cool fitness stuff on there as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you buy a shirt from her, then you're obligated to buy one from me.
Yep, so flyGIRL and One Plane Jane.
Yeah.
we're gonna do a collab. We're gonna cut the shirt in half. One side is flyGIRL and one side is One Plane Jane,
Sew it together.
so that nobody is feeling left out today.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you, Christine. It was so nice to
Thank you,
meet
ladies.
you.
Thank you
Enjoyed
for-
it. And now we're going to go to lunch, right?
Yeah, thank you for flying
Yeah.
in for Spain just
Yeah,
for
to
this
see
podcast.
us, right?
Yeah, well, we are all Midwestern flyers, though.
Yeah.
So we need to do
right.
one together.
Yeah, that would be so fun.
Do you think that she would jump in a swimming pool outside in 35 degrees for $100?
I don't know. Did you know she did that?
For $100?
She.
Or you just did it?
She. No, we were out by the pool trying to film a funny little clip, and I was like, "What would it take? How much money would it take for you to jump in that pool?"
$100.
She said $100. I was like,
You ain't never worked
okay.
a day in your life if you wouldn't do something for $100. Come on.
I was like, "Okay,
Oh
I'll
my
pay you
gosh.
$100," and she jumped.
I jumped in the pool.
With a swimsuit, or you just
No,
jumped in?
my
Just in her
clothes.
clothes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's freezing.
Yeah.
It's freezing.
Oh, yeah.
We filmed
Where's the
it. We're
video?
making a little video
Sweet.
of it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Cockpits and Cocktails with Christine of One Plane Jane. I hope that you enjoyed it. We've got a lot of cool guests coming up in the future. Hopefully you are a subscriber. If you're not, please do so that you don't miss any of our episodes. We have a variety of guests on the show and love to introduce them to all of you. I love to hear everyone's stories and I love to share those stories. So please make sure you tune in and share it. Spread the love with everyone that you know and get them to tune in as well, so all of us aviation lovers can stick together. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, cheers.
Misunderstood.